So he's making somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 a month off of these
just on the
deals?
cash flow.
Really? Mm-hmm. So guys, imagine that for a moment, okay? Imagine bringing in another $5,000 into the house every single month. Imagine bringing $7,500 a month into your household on top of what you're making now. All right, everybody, welcome back to the VIP Financial Ed YouTube channel. If this is your first time here, make sure you're a subscriber to the channel. We talk about how you guys can hack the banks, turn the banks against each other, how you can succeed in real estate, how you can succeed in other businesses, how to make a bunch of money every month. Today, I want to talk specifically about what Michael has been up to, because he has shared so much value with our audience with his many visits here on the channel regarding this really cool little niche in real estate where you can make big money every single month. It's a terrific cash flow solution. If this is your first time coming through, make sure you check the description for a couple of links for a couple videos that will help fill in some of the potential blanks or questions you might have. Because today I want to get some updates from you, right? Because we've had a lot of really good success with people from the channel. So people that are audience members here and have been subscribers and have participated with Little Pink Houses, we're getting testimonial after testimonial of deals popping and them making big money. In fact, you were telling me as we were sitting here that a couple of the audience members from our channel made so much money on the deals that they had closed that they actually went back and gave money to the sellers inside their transactions.
That is an absolute fact. In fact, Mona Hayes, who we'll be talking to this afternoon, and I can count a couple of them at this point, that obviously they were ecstatic with the profits that they made on the deal, and the one that you're specifically talking about. She made $20 some odd thousand, or stood to make $20 some odd thousand, and I think it just kind of speaks to what type of individual she is. She wanted everyone to kind of get their pound of flesh, if you will. Even though the seller was really happy with the deal that we had negotiated with her and ultimately for her, she took $10,000 out of her profits and gave it directly back to the seller. And I was baffled by it. Obviously that takes a little money out of our pocket as well, but at the end of the day it made her happy, and so we were happy to go along with it. But it was a pretty cool story.
Yeah, I mean, that's amazing. So $20,000 deal, folks, and how long has she been participating with Little Pink House?
It was about 30 days in. The really cool thing right now is, we had always told people kind of previously, expect about 90 days before you start putting checks in the bank. And I think that it really speaks to our team of support that we have at this point, and it's growing. So we've got bands of coaching. We've got people that are coming into our acquisitions department now that are doing a lot of that heavy lifting and helping secure contracts while these people are going through that learning curve. So not only has it sped up the learning curve, but profitability comes so much more quickly at this point. Two people that we're talking to this afternoon both put their first deals together and right around that 30-day mark from coming through the training. And we're seeing that time and time again at this point. Quite a few of your people, coaching members, and just your audience in general have come on board with us. I could do an hour-long video just going through recent deals with them, getting tremendous feedback from them. Obviously, always get tremendous feedback about your best practices and what you guys bring to the table on the channel, and I certainly follow those myself. Words like life-changing, it's cool to hear stuff like that. So not only with your business, but when people say, just a couple of these deals has literally changed my life. What can $10, $20, $30, $40, $50,000 do for people's financial peace of mind? It's one of the coolest parts of being in business, at least for me at this point, is watching other people's successes. So anyways. No,
that's really great. So just to kind of sum this up for you guys, this is a territorial, geographically specific type of business model. So they're franchising this out, and the cost of participation is, once that's completed officially, is expected to go quite a bit higher. And we talk about the costs in a link below, so make sure you guys watch that video so you can see what the price tags are of this. But it is expected to nearly double, which means that it's important, if it's something that you've been considering, that you get started with it. Just at least reach out by emailing pink@vipfinancialeducation.com. That email will go direct to Michael and his team. These guys will then be able to reach out and have sort of a discovery phone call with you. Hey, does this make sense? What are your questions? And you guys can decide together whether it's something that's a fit for your current life, for your family's life. Finding a way to transition away from other, maybe less desirable streams of income that you're earning now, maybe a day job or business that you're not necessarily as impressed by anymore. If you're an independent business owner and you want to move into something that's more fulfilling for you, this could potentially be that. But do your homework, and these guys are amazing. I mean, I obviously put my name next to theirs, and I haven't had even one negative complaint from the hundreds, literally hundreds of people from this channel that have pursued this already. But the downside, of course, I think there are a couple of downsides that I've made mention here. Number one observation, obviously, is again, limitations to availability. I think that's a downside. I would rather that this be something that anybody could take advantage of anytime. Because there is actual limitation to availability, it means there is scarcity to this, which means that there is higher demand, and it means that you might actually miss an opportunity if you wait too long. The second downside I see to this would be the lack of residual nature when it comes to making money. And I think that is going to be something that these guys have helped a lot with in terms of team building exercises where you can actually create a business from this versus being one, kind of a one-man band or a couple coming in and working it themselves. If you really grow this out and you're able to delegate, I do think that there is sort of a more streamlined approach that I would personally prefer as a business owner because I want to scale. So that would be the only other thing that I think is a disadvantage to this is it's not as residual, it is transactional. Mm-hmm. You're only as good as your last closing. If you're not closing deals, are you getting paid?
Yeah, so two very valid points. So on the initial one, as far as the scarcity, that's important for us to maintain that in any market. What we can't have is, our partners, our franchisees, soon to be cannibalizing each other.
Of course.
So,
no, it makes sense.
We want to, just like any other franchise business, they have metrics in place that based on population or geography, they're only going to have a certain amount in a market. And, like a McDonald's, for example, I don't think there can be a McDonald's inside of 2 miles or 3 miles of another one. So, they have those same kind of guidelines, and there's whys and wherefores to that. But yeah, everyone has to be able to stand alone successfully. Of course, bigger markets will support multiples, but it is on a first come, first served basis. We do have markets that have closed out. It's probably the least favorite part of my job because I get that consultation call and we're kind of vetting each other out, and I'm glancing, as I'm picking up the phone, looking at an area code, and my face literally drops if I see it's in an area that we can't bring another individual into, and of course I have to break that news to them. Hate doing it, but there's very, very specific and good reasons behind that methodology. As far as it being transactional, of course it's transactional. So the big chunks are that kind of instant gratification, if you will. They are front loaded, but we're also focusing on a lot more cash flow opportunities, which is something that we really didn't focus on too heavily, even as recently as maybe 6 to 12 months ago, but there are cash flow opportunities on every single deal. We've got one of our partners in Mississippi, actually, at any given time, he's got 20 to 25 houses that, of course, he didn't spend a dime or utilize any of his credit to control. Now, it's not a forever deal like a long-term buy and hold would be, but most of our terms fall within about 6 to 12 or 18 months. So, kind of a rule of thumb, if they can
Are these lease options?
They are, yeah. So all of these houses, he's got 20 or 25 at any given time, then he makes anywhere from, $200, which is kind of our rule of thumb as far as the juice being worth the squeeze on those deals, because you are still involved in the deal and you're not assigning your interest out at that point. But he's got 20, 25 houses that he makes between 200 and he's got one that he's cash flowing like $2,000 a month on.
No kidding. So he's making somewhere between $5,000 and $10,000 a month off of these
just on the
deals?
cash flow.
Really? Mm-hmm. So guys, imagine that for a moment, okay? Imagine bringing in another $5,000 into the house every single month. Imagine bringing $7,500 a month into your household on top of what you're making now. We're talking game changer amounts of money. Mm-hmm. Truly, this is an amount of money where most people, when you start to approach that six-figure number, you could realistically step away from anything that you're not in love with right now. And I think that type of freedom is really important. Okay, cool. Well, I didn't realize that. I didn't realize that there was this lease option, kind of a short but extended residual cash flow potential that's potentially there with you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Because a lot of these sellers that we're working with, a lot of them are just looking for debt service, or they've got a non-performing asset, and so if they've got a $500,000 house and they're all-in payment for debt service every month is, let's call it $2,500, but we know that the market would bear a $3,000 monthly payment. So we've got our strike price with the seller at $2,500. Our go-to-market price to the buyers is $3,000. Now we're negotiating these final terms and conditions for these people. So we're able to carve out the best terms for them as possible on each and every deal, because of course this is what we do all day, every day, and have for years. But cash flow opportunities certainly exist on each one of these. So on that illustration right there, that's a $500 a month cash flow. Now it might only be for 6 or 12 months, but 12 months at $500 of their bottom line every month.
That's crazy. And real quick, so a lot of the terminology that you're throwing out, I imagine for people that are not as seasoned in real estate, it's overwhelming, right? I mean, when we're talking about lease options, if I'm not familiar with this stuff, how realistic is it for me to be able to come into Little Pink Houses as an associate and really gain the knowledge through that learning curve and start making money fairly quickly to where it's actually worth it for me?
I would say that probably maybe 1 out of 4, 1 out of 5 that come on board with us have real estate experience. Most people don't. It's absolutely not a detriment. Our training program is just very thorough, very in depth. We kick off the relationships by them coming into our Jacksonville, Florida corporate office for 4 days. It's a deep dive training. We're going through our model from A to Z, all the way from the upfront seller contract complete to the closing and everything in between. They're meeting their back end support team, their coaches. But when they leave that training and they go back to their market, they're not on an island by themselves. That support, that daily support component is really critical to their success. And what you just touched on right there is while they are going through that learning curve, especially if they're starting from ground zero as far as real estate experience, we're still moving that needle. We're pushing and forging ahead with their business and making them profitable while they're still really figuring it out. We are generating leads. We're helping them get contracts. We're negotiating the final terms and conditions on the deal. We're coordinating with our local real estate attorneys in every market that's going to ultimately close the deal. So these people don't have to have some broad spectrum of knowledge in real estate. In fact, most of them don't, and they're successful right now. The folks that we're talking to this afternoon here shortly, their first deals were about 30 days in. Neither one of them had real estate experience.
Wow. So guys, obviously this is very, very real. We are always looking for ways that you can increase what you're earning so that you can live the lifestyle you want to live while simultaneously preventing the undesirable spending that we all face, like costs of interest and unnecessary taxes and perhaps even insurance premiums. These are expenses nobody really enjoys paying for. And if we can put the right plan together where both sides of that balance sheet are being optimized, you would be shocked at what you can pull off. This is a really, really great opportunity for people that are going to put in the consistent effort each and every month. And if you do that, you can kill it. And we're just seeing it time and time again. So I always love having Michael here. We're gonna continue to probe and ask questions and find out where we can gain additional value for you guys, because I want his extensive knowledge. The dude has a 180 door complex, for crying out loud, guys. Okay, so this is somebody that's extremely successful in the space that you guys are trying to get more success within too. And the more we can learn from one another, the more we can all grow. I appreciate your attendance here on today's video. Make sure that you do watch the videos in the link below. In the description will contain a couple of links to send you over to the videos where I'm certain that additional questions can get answered. When can we expect this franchising to actually be official? I know we've talked about it countless times at this point.
Yeah, so it's been, and we were talking off camera, Mike and I were earlier, we're closing in on a year at this point. It's unbelievable how many hoops you have to jump through. Of course, it's SEC regulated. Just a disclosure form up front is almost about 400 pages, and it's not we were saying it's not a boilerplate. It's literally specific to every facet of our business. So we want to say inside of 30 days. We've had delays over the last couple months at no fault of our own, but our legal team is actually in what we have heard the final stages of that. So we're excited about it. I don't want to give a date because we've had to push it back a couple times at this point, but
it's imminent.
It is absolutely imminent. Yes. Okay. Yeah. You love when I say the word imminent.
Well, it's coming, folks. But when it happens, the price tag is going to skyrocket. I mean, it's at least doubling where we're at today. If that creates any urgency in you, email pink@vipfinancialeducation.com, set up a conversation, discover whether or not this is something that you guys want to look further into. Until we see you on the next video, make it a great day. Take care.
Guys, so how did you hear about Little Pink Houses of America?
Yeah, so I spend a lot of time on YouTube, and we came across Little Pink Houses from the VIP channel, Matthew Pillmore. Heard of him talking about it, and Mike here at Little Pink, and decided to reach out and give them a try, see how it would go.
Awesome. So what's your previous real estate experience?
None. We don't have any. We're both scientists up in the Massachusetts area, so we're excited to get started.
Awesome. What's the number one thing you took out of the last 4 days?
I think we got a lot of insight into, first of all, obviously what the program is, but how to really sell these houses to do the best for us and also do the best for Pink. Involves a lot of psychology, almost a lot of what to say, how to say it, and I think that's the biggest benefit the training had for me. Not so much of being a real estate agent or being in real estate, just how to approach these deals.